Okay, this next third video will be all about the cans and the beat cards. You have probably figured out by now there's two cans. There's one in 3/4 time and another one in 4/4 time. It'll say on the bottom. And all that means is that the 3/4 can has 27 divisions, 27 holes per ring. And the 4/4 can has 32. So 32nd notes, 27th notes for stuff in 3 or stuff in 4. And it came with a bunch of cards. And as I have stated, but I can't say it enough times, turn this off whenever you're going to put the can on or off. And the can goes in between the white and blue pipe, and you kind of scoop it in, find the center, scoop it out. You were given probably a couple of these little hair clips. You don't really need them, but sometimes if the card is, pooching out or whatever, I use them around the edges to keep the card tight against the can, to keep light from leaking. The seam of the card always goes to the seam of the can, and I've marked it on the outside and the inside. And this is going to be a hard video to make with just one hand, but the way that I put these cards in and out, let's come over here, is, of course, they always go right side up, and these are the names of the beats. I kind of like overshoot them, put them in there, get it approximately to that line, and then finagle it around until you see the light holes coming through the right place. So that's how you put the beats in and out, and you do it. These cards are pretty sturdy. They'll get bent up and stuff, but they're nice, thick poster board paper. If you want to make your own cards, just measure them, buy some black poster board, cut it to the right size, and then spray paint one side silver. And the reason one side is silver is so that when it's in the drum buddy, it reflects light to maximum lumens to activate the CDS cells. So now let's get to cutting them and making beats. Now, if you're starting from scratch, there's a lot of ways to skin this cat. You have a bunch of blank cards, by the way. You have a bunch of unpunched cards. You can just stick a can in there and then start. I always start with the lowest rung, which is the blue kick drum oscillator. And you can just, let me show you on a different can. You can put that can, put a blank card in there. And then take a silver Sharpie marker, which you also have in your kit, and then make a dot on one of those holes, pull it out, and using this tool, this little hole punch, I think it's for leather originally. This is your card cutting tool. You'd find that dot that you've poked on here. I'm not going to do it. And then center this center it around the dot and give it a whack. And that's how you start making these holes. So you can literally do it by just putting a blank card in there, dotting it up with a Sharpie, and starting to poke holes and put it in, and then go back and redo it. And what I do a lot is if I have a hole where I don't want one, I'll just tape it up and poke a new one, and use black tape. I'm using fabric electrical tape for this. Tape it on both sides, and then it'll stay like that forever, and your hole is corrected. And I have cards like this that have got corrected tape marks everywhere. But if you want a nice clean looking card and you want to make a new beat, the way that I have done it is to run a line of regular electrical tape around each ring of holes, starting at the seam. This is hard to do with one person video. All right. Starting at that seam, I'm just running this electrical tape around the whole ring. Cut it off. So now every line is covered up on this can. Let's come back to the Drum Buddy. Here. And you get yourself a nail, a big old nail, or a screwdriver or something. And like I said, I always start with the kick drum with the blue pipe, because usually that has less hits, and starting a beat is really all about, once you get that kick lined up with the hi-hat sounding the way you want it to, everything else can kind of fall into place. You can sort of see where they should be and listen to it. But just find, let's see, I'm sorry about my terrible camera work. Just literally poke a hole through it with the nail. Turn it on, turn everything off. We're just listening to the kick now. And you may need to open the hole, that hole poked through tape. Might be a little too small, or it might close up. But you can just start poking holes in all of these. And then if you don't like a hole, if you don't like where it is or where the beat is falling, you listen to it, you kind of move the can around when it's off and guess, and then just cover them up, and it'll look, cut a little piece of this electrical tape, cover it up, poke the hole over here, line it up, spend time just poking holes in this electrical taped up can and taping over the ones you don't like, and just mess with it until you got it sounding the way you want it. And then all the holes that you have, well, the next thing you want to do, all right, you've got your beat and it's all poked through on the electrical tape. Then you're going to put a blank card in there. You're going to fit your blank card in there, silver side in, lined up, right on that seam, pushed all the way down, everything nice and perfect. Then you find those holes. And you mark it with the Sharpie. You mark all where they are. There might be one there. There might be one there. There might be one over there. Where the holes of light are. You mark them up with the Sharpie. Then remove your card. I'm sorry this is over explaining, but And then I'm just punching one hole because I don't want to ruin this nice blank card. So this will be all marked up. This will be all marked up with cards, or this card will be all marked up with silver dots. And then you take this tool, and it needs to be, your table needs to be very solid. Cement floor is good. And I use a piece of hardwood backing so that the cutter has something to kind of smush into, but it's not too forgiving. Walnut seems to be perfect for this. You'll figure it out. If you do it on cement or something too hard, you're going to dull this blade, and this will stop working so good. So you center this little hole puncher over your dot, and you got your holes going. So I hope that makes sense, but I mean, once you have this instrument running, it's going to be pretty obvious what's going on, and the 101 ways that you can figure out to make beat cards for the two cans that you've got. So hope that helps, and do enjoy. And as always, if you have any questions or confusion, there's so few of these instruments out there in the world, I would be more than happy to answer emails or questions about this stuff. All right, bye.